Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet, voice you know with the News You Trust studio, sponsored by Grain Equipment Company, where innovation meets execution. I'm Dusty Sonnenberg. Well, it's hot outside. Sunny skies, temperature of 92 degrees on my barn thermometer. Humidity down a little bit. It's 51% relative humidity. I don't know that we would exactly call it a dry heat, but it's great weather for making hay. Not so good for the rest of the crops, though, that could use a drink. A couple quick calendar reminders. Powered by soy biodiesel, Dale is back on the road again. He's on the Axis Seed County Fair Tour. That'll be taking him to the Richwood Independent Fair coming up on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, Dale will be at the Hancock County Fair. That's thanks to Nutrient Ag Solutions and the Hancock County Farm Bureau. Be sure to stop out and say hello. Taking a look at your agricultural headlines, an interesting story dealing with a USDA survey looking at cash rent averages by county. And so, again, this is taking all the cash rents in a county, figuring out what that average is. They surveyed 250,000 farmers. The criteria was $1,000 or more in agricultural sales, and they conduct this each year from mid-February until June. Now, this year, Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Kentucky, Ohio, Missouri, Michigan, and Indiana listed a total of 853 counties, so those were all included. Illinois dominated with 9 out of the top 10 highest rents across all those states and all the counties. The one they didn't get was in Iowa. If we take a look across some of the states, though, it is interesting to see where those fall out. The number one county in Illinois, their average cash rent, $377 an acre. That in Pat County, it's the highest cash rent by Corn Belt states, topping last year's by $10. In Indiana, the highest was $299 an acre. That was in Benton County. In Iowa, Sioux County had the highest with $323 per acre. Down in Kentucky, Logan County had the highest cash rent at $244 an acre. Up in Michigan, the highest cash rent average per county was Iona County at $180 an acre. And in Minnesota, Martin County came in at $287 an acre. Here in Ohio, Hardin County actually had the highest average cash rent, that coming in at $240 an acre. Now, Nebraska had two counties tied. Dakota County and Cumming County were at $280 an acre. Missouri was at $244 an acre. And Wisconsin's Lafayette County was at $261 per acre. So you can see Ohio's high average cash rent, and again, by county, put us near the bottom, actually, of all those states, with only Michigan being lower. Now, changing directions just slightly, taking a look at the USDA's weekly crop progress report, corn and soybeans good to excellent conditions rating fell at the national level last week, following 2 weeks in a row of holding steady. Now, both crops also appear to be reaching maturity slightly ahead of what the 5-year average would be. As far as corn development goes, corn in the dough stage was estimated at 84% nationwide. That's 1 percentage point behind last year's 85, but 1 point ahead of the 5-year average of 83. Now, corn dented was estimated at 46%, equal to last year, but 4 points ahead of the 5-year average, and corn mature was at 11%. That's 3 points ahead of last year's 8%. 5 points ahead of the 5-year average. Now, NASS estimated that 65% of the crop fell in that good to excellent condition. However, 13% of the crop was rated poor to very poor. Now, when it comes to soybeans setting pods nationwide estimated at 89%. That's 1 point behind last year's 90%, but 1 point ahead of the 5-year average. Soybeans dropping leaves was pegged at 6%. 2 points ahead of both last year in the 5-year average, and 67% of the soybean crop was rated in the good to excellent category. As far as wheat goes, spring wheat harvest picked up speed last week, jumping ahead 20 percentage points, reaching 51%. Of that spring wheat crop remaining in the field, 69%, though, is still rated good to excellent. Taking a look more specifically at crop progress here in Ohio, according to the most recent U.S. Drought Monitor, 63% of the state was considered abnormally dry or even worse. That's up 4 points from last week. And 10% of the state was experiencing what's considered moderate drought, while 24% of the state was experiencing severe to extreme drought. According to the National Ag Statistics Service, topsoil moisture conditions were rated as 33% of the state being very short, with 42% short and only 25% considered adequate. As far as specific crop conditions go for the corn crop, we find 49% rated good to excellent, with 23% being considered poor to very poor. For soybeans, 48% of the crop is considered good to excellent, with 18% of the soybean crop falling in that poor to very poor condition. And as far as the pasture and rangelands go, 17% of the pasture is considered in good to excellent condition. However, 39% is considered in the poor to very poor categories. Let's take a look now at how your market's closed for a Tuesday, brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance, online at seedconsultants.com. Well, it was a positive day in the markets as September corn closed the day up 5 1/4 cents at $3.67 1/4. December new crop corn was up 6 1/4 cents at $3.92 3/4. September soybeans closed up 7 3/4 at $9.67 1/2, with November new crop beans up 5 3/4 at $9.86 1/2 cent. And wheat for September closed up 10 1/4 cent, $5.08 1/4 cent, with the July 25 new crop wheat up 9 1/4 at $5.73. October live cattle closed the day up $2.42 1/2 cents at $179.40, and October lean hogs were up $1.67 1/2 at $82.07 1/2 cent. This is the Ohio AgNet.